Today, Lincoln and I will be talking about the importance of critical reading online and why it's always important to get all the facts right, so you know you're not getting manipulated and believing their ideas. With the new rise of social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, it's become much easier to manipulate and trick people into believing ideas that can be hurtful. Celebrities are normally the main targets of these types of attacks and can cause major damage to their health, jobs, and reputation.
This type of thing doesn't just happen to celebrities, it can happen to anyone. The website we'll be looking at today is called Joji is cancelled, trends on Twitter, after people discover Filthy Frank. The problem arises after Twitter user, @JinSolby, mentions in a tweet that Joji has the use of the N-word in his new song, in which he was playing the character of Filthy Frank.
Twitter users has mixed reactions towards this, with many users taking the side of Joji and the news Soto taking a neutral point of view. This article was published to inform people about the situation occurring on Twitter with the Joji drama. The article was published on a smaller internet gaming magazine site called Exoto, as it was intended to be read by people who are more frequent users of the internet, as they would be more interested in this situation. Headline of this article is Joji is cancelled, trends on Twitter, and the people discover Filthy Frank, shows that Joji had an unpleasant history on the internet that a lot of people weren't okay with. The first figure is two pictures edited together show the contrast between Joji, the popular musician, and Filthy Frank, the vile and disgusting YouTuber. This represents Joji as a different character to the character he once played.
This article includes a lot of different language features, such as noun groups, quotes, verb groups, as well as language of judgment. Some examples of these language features are one of the most popular musicians, and the Billboard chart-topping star. These verb groups and language of judgment show Joji as a talented musician with a big following, and when they say Miller's edgy humor from years ago, it serves as a softer way of saying he has an offensive sense of humor and distances himself from his comments from long ago. This article never really includes any language of affect or emotional phrases. This aids us in knowing that the true authenticity of this article and becoming critical consumers. These screenshots of a Twitter thread started by Mia, or user @JinSolby, show her saying that Joji had used the N-word in his musical project, failing to mention or give any context to the use of the word, like how it is from 2011 and is contextual to the character he was portraying, which is meant to be the incarnation of everything that a human should not be. She also failed to mention that the musician has now distanced himself from the Filthy Frank channel, which is crucial in a tweet that some people will find informative and factual, as the tweet portrays him as a disgusting and racist person, which was not and is still not a proven fact. If it was not already hard enough to argue that the Twitter user is a credible and trustworthy source, as the tweet is written with poor grammar and a casual tone, it turns out that the Twitter user is not such a quintessential person herself, and it seems that calling out Joji was just because she wanted some Twitter likes, as she has been found saying a racist slur on multiple occasions, even towards a person of color in one particular occasion. This just proves that you cannot hold everything you see on the internet at face value, and how important it is to be a critical consumer of what you read on the social internet. I said that wrong. Social media and internet.
This video made by Sanjo, titled Joji Said the N-Word, shows a perspective where Joji isn't the bad guys, he was playing a character of someone who's meant to be offensive. Someone who is the embodiment of everything you shouldn't be, as stated by the Filthy Frank YouTube channel. The YouTuber also states that we need to separate art from the artist, as Joji isn't actually the sad character he plays in his music videos, just like how Joji isn't actually the pink guy character he played. He then compared this situation to another hypothetical situation where he said,
didn't like. That's like going after the creator of Naruto because we didn't like how Orochimaru was portrayed in the third season.
he then quotes Qui-Gon Jinn saying, "There's always bigger fish,"
There's bigger fish. Qui-Gon Jinn told me that.
meaning that they are focusing on an issue when there are larger problems.
George Miller has been no stranger to controversies over his 9-year-long career as an influencer on social media. In 2020, however, it seems that the last straw was drawn as the hashtag #JojiOverParty started to trend on Twitter worldwide. The internet overall had mixed reactions, with one side saying that he was in the wrong and the other thinking that he was in the right. An example of a negative representation comes from the source of the controversy when Twitter user @JinSobi stated that Joji had the use of the N-word without mentioning that this was in his musical project as satirical, infamous character Paint Guy. From 2011, leaving out context portrays Joji as a blatant racist.
Other people just laughed off the controversy, stating that he had moved on from the Filthy Frank character, who had already been known to be a sarcastically vile human, and has since moved away from the Filthy Frank YouTube channel. These two clearly contradicting representations are an example that you cannot believe everything you see on the internet, and you should be critical of what you let influence your opinions and beliefs.
Oh my god, I got a stitch.